Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you try or work, you are still behind? What if I told you that success doesn't come from working harder? It's not the amount of work that you put in, but it's where you put in that work. So don't work hard, work smarter. Let's see how do we do that. Hello, my name is Pooja Nitin Purwal. I'm an IT professional and a career growth coach. Today we are going to see how you can work smarter and still be ahead of everybody around you. You feel you would be interested in that? Let's begin. So in this video, I'm going to share strategies that top achievers and performers have. These are hidden ones, and this is where you can achieve massive success while maintaining your balance. By the end, you will know how exactly you can get effortless results without a burnout. Strategy number one, the 80-20 rule. Focus on high impact activities. So I've spoken about this Pareto principle in a couple of my other videos also. So the Pareto principle states that 80% of your outcome or results actually come from the 20% activities or the 20% efforts or 20% actions that you take. Let me give you some real life examples. Okay. You all must be knowing the billionaire Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett spends 80% of his time reading and thinking because it has the highest return on investments. The amount of time that he spends reading, doing research, and thinking on his next steps basically gives him the 80% success that he gets in his life. So how do we apply this in our life? So first thing, identify your top 20%. Okay, so these are the tasks that gives the most impact in your life. Just start with a simple list. You can use an electronic medium or even a pen and paper is good enough. I do with pen and paper. List out all the works that you need to do for the day, and then circle out 3 or 5 tasks which are the most important, which are going to give you 80% of results. So if you are done with those 3 or 5 tasks, your day is considered to be a success. And then spend time prioritizing and doing those, and if you have time further left in the day, then you can work on the other priorities. Another thing that you can do is you can eliminate or delegate low value tasks. So these are the ones which don't contribute majorly to your results. This can be someone else's work as well, or things that you do not need to do at all. So if you have something of such sorts in your to-do list, just see if you can delegate it to the best possible person, or just not do it as well. So in your case, let's say if you're a developer, then maybe solving a critical development problem or creating a new way of developing and deploying new softwares can actually give you more growth compared to replying to emails. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't need to reply to emails. If it is a very important email which can form part of that 80% outcome, you do need to prioritize that as well. But then that's where the prioritization and the 80-20 segregation comes into picture, right? Strategy number two, leverage systems and automation. Okay? So top performer don't rely on willpower, because willpower can become a starting fuel wherein you start working and you have willpower, but then it won't keep you going for a very long time. Anybody who have been on diets with only willpower would attest to this fact, right? So what do they do? What do people do? They use systems to do work for them. Like, for example, Elon Musk, and we all know how much work he gets done, right? So he applies the first principles thinking. He focuses only on what moves the needle and outsource the rest. So you can automate a lot of things in your life. Like, for example, for repetitive tasks, you can use email filters wherein based on certain subjects or sender or something, it would automatically go into a selected folder which you may or may not look at depending upon what that filter is for. Or you can do calendar scheduling for your important tasks wherein you block your own calendar to map the task so that you are not distracted by everything else that is happening around you. You can even create templates and workflows to save time. So the idea here is check out which are the tasks that takes most of your time and how you can bring optimization and efficiency in those tasks so that you are still able to do them very efficiently and to the quality that you require, but you reduce the time that you are spending on it. The same concept of delegating non-essential work to focus on high value tasks applies for this one as well. So this is one way of automating or creating systems wherein you are not spending time on things that are not very fruitful for you. Strategy number 3, the flow state. How to work less but get more done. I'm sure you would have had heard about this flow state. If not, then let me just give you a brief background on what this is. So basically, flow state is a psychological state wherein your mind is at its peak productivity and performance state. This is where you are just lost in a task. You don't realize how much time have passed. You are enjoying, you are having fun, and you're just going with the flow. You don't feel hungry. You don't feel like going anywhere. No distractions can actually make you move out of that particular state. But this is the state where you want to be. This is where you are, having fun, enjoying. So deep work, when we have to do some deep work, uh, it can be done effortlessly when you tap into this flow state, which is also your brain's peak performance state. We see so many athletes who actually work beyond whatever maybe the human limitations that we have all put on ourselves. And how do they do that? They do that by creative use of the flow state to perform 5 times their normal productivity level. How do you apply it in your life? You can work in these 90 minutes deep work sprints. For this, you can actually use the Pomodoro timer or app as well, wherein you work for 25 minutes, 5 minutes break, another 25 minutes, 5 minutes break, another 25 minutes, 5 minutes break. And after this 90-minute cycle, you actually take a longer break of 15 minutes or so. Okay. Next is remove distractions from your workspace. So put your phone on airplane mode, put it out of sight altogether, uh, so that it's not disturbing you. If you still need to keep your phone around you, then use the Zen mode or the Forest app or something which would, stop you from actually going into your phone and work with various apps that are there. Okay. And the third thing, which is something that most of you may not agree with it. But then stop multitasking. Do one thing at a time and you will see how it boosts your productivity and efficiency. Multitasking reduces efficiency by 40%. I've already made a couple of videos on it. Please go and check those out, and you'll get more insights on why I'm saying what I'm saying. Strategy number 4, minimum effective dose. The less but better rule. Okay, so this is where doing more isn't the key. Doing the right thing efficiently is. Tim Ferriss, the author of the book called The 4 Hours Work Week, scaled his business using minimum effective done approach. So, in this, what we do is we don't do many things. So, instead of writing 10 social media posts, we find one viral idea and repurpose it into multiple formats. Similarly, instead of having a 10-hour workday, we focus on 1-2 hours where our brain is naturally the most productive and do our most important work in those hours. For example, if your job involves problem solving, use decision making frameworks like Eisenhower matrix to prioritize. So, the idea here is to find out what is your minimum effective dose. What is it that you can do minimum but still get the maximum output that you require? Strategy number 5, the 2-minute rule. Avoid procrastination and increase efficiency. So, what we do here is in our to do list, if a task is taking less than 2 minutes, we do it immediately. And the reason we do this is because if we have to list it out, track it, then do it, it would actually take more than 2 minutes any which ways. So, it's better to get it done now. And let's say if you have a task which is bigger, uh, but then there is something that you can still start on it in the next 2 minutes, then you break it down into those smaller 2-minute starting steps and then do it one step at a time. James Clear, the author of the famous book Atomic Habit, explains how starting small consistently leads to effortless success. And this is also very clearly explained and showcased in the book Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. So how do we go about this? Okay, so instead of putting off a big project because you think it's going to require 2 hours of your dedicated time, just start writing the first task that you can do in the next 2 minutes. Okay, instead of delaying exercise, just put on your workout shoes and just say, I'm going to do it for 5 minutes. Okay, and once you start doing it for 5 minutes, you'll actually finish the entire workout. You will not give up in between. But putting those workout shoes is going to be the key thing that would put you on the start. Okay, so for example, procrastinators fail because they wait for the motivation, whereas the high achievers start small and build momentum. Strategy number 6, energy management is greater than time management. So it's not about how much time you have, but how much energy you can sustain. So you would all have experienced those days wherein you come back home, let's say by 7 p.m. in the evening, and you still have at least 3 to 4 hours before you have to go to bed. But then you are just so low on energy that you don't feel like doing anything productive in those 3 4 hours, and maybe you just go through videos or watch TV or do some meaningless task which doesn't add to your life in any meaningful way. Tony Robbins uses this physiology uh, to keep his energy high throughout the day. So you can actually do some level of physical movement which change your emotional and psychological state as well. So when you move physically, you change your mental and emotional state as well. So just do some jumping jacks, do some breathing techniques, something that could, relax and put you into motion. How do you apply it in your life? Take strategic breaks to avoid burnout, like Pomodoro technique. You can even take walking breaks. Eat for energy. So your body burns a lot of fuel to keep you energized, right? And if you actually are working on sugar or caffeine and not really fueling your body with good energy fuel, like fruits, vegetables, good fats, etc., then you are going to crash at some point in time, because sugar and caffeine can only sustain you for so long. So eat well for having energy throughout the day. And do deep breathing and movement to reset your brain, as we just discussed. And the final strategy number 7, the power of saying no. So every yes to something unimportant is a no to your biggest important goal. So billionaire investor Warren Buffett's productivity hack is the difference between successful and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Okay. Now we cannot really say no to everything, but we can start by saying no to a few activities. So what you can say no to? Firstly, say no to any unnecessary meetings that are coming in your calendar. Whenever you see an invite, ask yourself, what value am I going to add into this meeting? Am I really required there to solve anything, to put some value, or am I just there for somebody's psychological benefit, just because they would feel good if I'm around? Okay. And then decide whether you really want to join them or you want to say no to them. Another thing that you can say no to is reactive tasks. Okay, so these are the tasks that don't serve your priorities, but they keep on coming your way. And you find yourself saying yes to them in a split second decision. When you're in a very reactive mode, you don't really think them through well. So if you are one of those people who do this, then start being a little more proactive. Think about what is being asked and then decide whether you want to say a yes or a no to it. Okay. Like, for example, Steve Jobs was famous for fiercely eliminating distraction and focusing only on Apple's core goal. And that's what made Apple and Steve Jobs so very successful. So the key to effortless results is not doing more. It's doing less but better. So please comment below and let me know which strategy will you apply first. Subscribe for more success and productivity tips. Share this video with somebody who needs it. Thank you for your time today. See you in the next video.